Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sorting.
Hold on. You can't start like that. I need like a 3, 2, 1. You just start. You did this
Santell,
last
you
time.
don't even have to talk.
I know, but I need like a. All right, we're shifting the energy.
All right, keep this in.
Don't keep this in.
But
This is so
give it
3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sorting Hat Podcast, the show where everything and anything can and will be sorted. I, as always, am your host, Michael Barryte, joined by my co-host, Brice.
Or are you?
The basic conceit of the show is that we have an expert or fan of a topic, and we will be taking subjects and things within that topic and subset and be sorting them into the various houses of Hogwarts. Today, we are joined once again by Michael Santell.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Michael's Nightmare.
Which, Michael, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Barryte.
So, we are going to be, Michael Santell is a comedian in the Los Angeles area, also a co-host of Super Couch Fighters on YouTube.
Yep.
We are dealing with American conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. When did you start getting into conspiracy theories?
So it's such a weird thing because I am the weird conspiracy guy. I feel like every time I go to a party, it's always like we get our drinks, find out each other. What do you do? What are you into?
It takes about 5 minutes before you and I start talking about
Right.
them.
It takes like a full second to like know I can trust you, and then it's like, what do you think about 9/11? Like it just pops up. Like, and I feel like I'm always that person. So as a kid, my parents were always into like paranormal radio and like coast to coast.
Oh, yeah,
so like
hell
in
yeah.
the 90s, the conspiracy of things like, the cell phone towers are beaming into our heads, and they're putting the things that they're putting in the water.
Chemtrails?
Right, all that stuff. Conspiracy theories came home for me in 2006 when my father was upset with the policies of the Bush administration,
Yeah.
felt that the United States was on a course of martial law where we would be gathered into FEMA camps and stuff like that,
Oh, man.
and needed to be out of the States so that he had a place for when me and my other relatives needed to leave the United States, had a safe place to go and move to New Zealand. Now, he will tell you that he also wanted to start a company over there, and, they fell in hard times. He moved over there because he was like, listen, when the U.S. economy fails, you're going to need a place to go to. And New Zealand has all of these things that are super safe. So I was always like, I don't necessarily believe these things, but my father believes them.
Wait, is he still there?
No.
Oh.
Went belly up. Hates Obama because he was never here for any Obama stuff.
Right.
Doesn't hate him, but it's just like, do we really know about that birth certificate?
Oh, Jesus.
Absolutely. And he's like an intelligent fucking man.
No, that's the most crazy thing is when racist stuff comes out of like somebody who you're like,
Right.
you have a college education. That's how you know that it's not like you can't just
no college
you can't-
education.
Well, but you can't just blame it on bumpkins because like racism is just like ingrained in people's brains.
Right. So I don't know where this comes from, but anyway, every time, Obama signs the National Defense Authorization Act, it's like, yo, we're one step closer to the martial law.
Oh,
or do you know
man.
about the UN's Agenda 21, where they want to destroy all the rural areas? So I have just conspiracies have always been a part of our conversation.
Right.
And then also, because of our age, like 9/11 happened to us in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So like we just were around for a conspiracy. All of our
Right.
parents were just around for JFK.
Yeah, we're all like over 30, I think. Or you just turned 30?
I just turned to 30.
Yeah,
Ooh,
and so, like,
welcome.
we were on a time that like our brains could actually start thinking critically about things, like we're developed enough. And that's when you start to be like, but what is the truth of the matter? And that's why conspiracies are always like, it's always like there's a truth and it's being covered up.
Right. So let me just say this because I was going to do it. Michael Barryte made me stop. So here's just the definition of a conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. The action of plotting or conspiring. That is like the definition of it, right? Yeah. I feel like what we're talking about, though, is the actual truth of a situation, and we have been fed disinformation. Like even the tragedy that happened in Las Vegas. less than 24 hours later than it, there was already people saying this was a CIA false flag. This was
like they said, like they were saying straight up saying that that dude like took the fall for it and they went up and planted guns in his room.
He was never. There are some people that says he doesn't even exist. Like shit like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a truly modern American sort of invention, and I feel like in the latter half of the 20th century, all of our major historical events have some sort of spin on them of like, actually what happened.
There's a general distrust of our larger figureheads.
Yeah, but there's also
because of fucking conspiracies.
Yeah.
Because Nixon conspired and Watergate did happen.
No, that's real.
Right. Iran-Contra is real. Ollie Northwood fucking lied to Congress.
Murder on the Orient Express was real.
Like, there are proven conspiracies.
Right, absolutely. And to that end, we will be addressing just a small, like, vocal majority, like the hits, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
It sounds awful
hits.
to be like calling them the hits, but they're the larger conspiracies that I feel the general populace has heard
all right,
of.
no, I understand what you're talking about. Instead of being like, all right, let's talk about this tax code conspiracy.
That said, That said, we more than likely can have you back to get super nitty gritty on some stuff.
Deep cut.
Okay, I'll see what happens.
But okay, let's just dive in if that's all right with everybody.
Before we do, the reason what I think conspiracies actually happen is, especially when it's around tragedies, is the human mind can't really think that, oh, this just happened because we live in a chaotic and cruel world where people sometimes lose their minds.
You'd like to rationalize it. You'd like to put a closure on it that makes sense to you.
You have to say this had to have been done for a bigger reason.
And also ultra,
'cause otherwise that's too sad and makes me lose my brain.
Right, exactly.
We are bombarded all the time with such violent imagery that when real violence happens, like an actual like violent event, it is so jarring. It is so like, it like removes you from your own life. You're like, oh my God, that is, I can't believe something like that can happen. And I think that because of the fog of war, the chaos that is our lives, we want to have like, oh, there was a reason why.
Yeah.
This wasn't.
If you have a like simple pinpoint justification, like it was this and it was for these reasons, which is really like what a lot of conspiracy theories do delve into, is like, here's like the entire chronology of all the events. Here's like what led up to it, and bam, that's how we got here.
And I feel like the thing that American conspiracies all have in common is that the United States government at a certain point decided we will do anything in our power to continue on America supremacy quietly and behind the doors.
Because there is some fucked up stuff. Like, have you seen the letters that the FBI sent to MLK Jr.?
Yeah.
That were basically like saying, you need to kill yourself because you are becoming too problematic. And if you don't, we'll probably take care of you ourselves.
Yeah. Following Black Panther members, following Malcolm X.
And most of the time, it was like white supremacy, but also with those people, it was also because they were pro-labor. They were pro-worker.
Well, and specifically with Martin Luther King, when Martin Luther King was fighting for equality, he had all of Washington on his side. The moment Martin Luther King was like, oh, we shouldn't be sending boys to Vietnam, the FBI was like, hey, maybe shut the fuck up.
So we're starting with the MLK assassination. No. We can start there.
Okay.
Like if there's conspiracy attached to it.
Great. So the conspiracy here was that Hoover, to quell the anti-war movement, which was bubbling up in the United States.
And like any more of the anti-labor movement, because we had just gotten out of the Red Scare and we really didn't want anything like associated with socialism or communism.
And also, we don't want black people having too many rights, right?
All of those things are going in the mix.
Right. That many of the political assassinations of the 60s, including Martin Luther King, were carried out by clandestine agents.
Yeah.
That these were engineered to happen. And through, Hoover's diary and stuff like that, there isn't evidence that necessarily points to that, but there's a lot of shit like, oh, he had what was coming to him.
Do you have, like, as you sort of are discussing this, and I feel I feel there's going to be a lot that will be driving us to either probably a Slytherin or Gryffindor, just based on like the argumentation as to why the conspiracy might or might not exist.
Right.
But it's also worth noting, sorting biases, that Santell is a Gryffindor, I am a Ravenclaw, Reed is a Hufflepuff.
And also, I also, because I feel like I don't know how, I've only listened to a couple episodes. I made this room completely dark. I closed all the windows. I made us light a candle. Like, I needed us to, conspiracies need to be spoken about in hushed tones.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is an abnormality for the podcast, but it's
say,
creating a good mood.
I would say like this stuff, anything associated with, especially with the civil rights movement, what's her name? Asada Shakur.
Sure.
Yeah, like they put her on the FBI's most wanted list for murder, and a lot of people say there is enough evidence to suggest that she was framed for it, because I think she was one of the Black Panthers, right?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and so it's not just that they were getting murdered, but they were being framed for murder. They were being framed as villains to the American people.
And then they could justify it of like, oh, they were a murderer.
Right.
So,
and there's a number of conspiracies in sort of the classical sense of the definition of being like, the LAPD is going to go shoot up a Black Panther's house, and then afterwards they're like, fuck, we got to justify this. Okay, they started shooting first. Well,
Right.
ballistics doesn't match that. They had a barricade and we're using women as human shields. No, the women were actually patching people's legs up and were getting shot like the men were. Like, there's things like that as well. That's
so
all super gross.
So this is an easy Slytherin, like in terms of the American government, and like it is evil in my mind. But separating that, it was a singular focus to keep the American government in supremacy.
And I also feel like the distinction needs to be made that because our government is so big, like, I don't think post office workers were like, yeah, fuck Martin Luther King, am I right? Like, I don't think it's all parts of government. I think that in the alphabet soup that is these clandestine agencies that have independent funding. For example, there's that new Tom Cruise movie where he plays a pilot.
Right.
That the CIA went to him to sell drugs to fund operations.
It's very crazy to me.
That is a fucking conspiracy!
Yeah, it's so crazy to me that we have these movies that come out and are like, look at how great America is. Like,
right.
Situations where like, we gave Afghanistan weapons so they could fight the Russians.
Charlie Wilson's war. Like a woman went to Charlie Wilson, was like, hey, we got to put these Afghan rebels. And Charlie Wilson was like, you're right. We got to do that.
Or American Sniper. That's just straight. I think that's what it was called. It's just straight up American nationalistic, like pro-war.
Well, I also got into a channel on my AT&T U-verse called NHK, which is straight from Japan, but it's just like Japanese programming of being like, here's the news, or like, here's a beautiful trip to Osaka. I saw a straight up reporter doing a story telling about how like, Fukushima's totally great now and everyone should move back in. We're going to show you some of the most beautiful places in Fukushima. Fukushima had a fucking nuclear power plant meltdown.
Yeah.
Fucking animals, they're just sweeping the dirt up. Like, that's another weird conspiracy.
In the case of Japan, Japan's media is government run. So
yes, and they passed a law there that if you talk about or report what's going on there, you will be fined or detained for talking about what's happening at Fukushima.
I always think it's weird when the government controls your television. Like the fact that like the BBC, like, and that you have to pay the government to own a TV or something.
Well,
how's it work in England?
This is the gross part about all of this and how deep the rabbit hole goes. And it might be a little bit past the point, but like, for example, the United States, we have news, we have all these different companies, they make movies and stuff like that. There are 6 companies.
Yeah.
There are 6 companies. And do you think that if there was a story about, the head of Sony doing something, would that go out on Columbia channels?
No, you're never going to hear about it.
Right. So, like, where does that conspiracy fall in all of this?
Even when you fall down the spheres a little bit, we're only finding out just now that O'Reilly has over $45 million worth of sexual harassment settlements.
$45 million?
Holy shit.
For one man and his despicable actions at one cable news network.
Do you think that's the conspiracy of Fox covering all of that, or do you think it has to do with, him just being a one-man monster show?
I don't know, but either way, like you said, it's like these companies that when you have so much influence and so much money, you can just make it so people don't ever hear about things.
Right. Which is the silence is consent, which is awful as well.
Yeah.
Sure. So shifting, because we went off topic, we're gonna do that a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna
on
happen
this
again.
episode.
Where did we decide to start with?
Well, we started with
were on the
MLK.
MLK.
We said that it was a
Overall,
Slytherin.
like, government conspiracy stuff.
Okay.
But especially the stuff Slytherin.
Now we're getting into a
Someone's going to be Ravenclaw, but we'll get to there.
we're
Ooh.
getting into a super fractured governmental cover up with the JFK assassination.
Here we go.
So even before the ambiguousness of the murder itself, there was a cover up, a conspiracy with the autopsy. There was weird stuff where the county commissioner was supposed to come in and do the autopsy, and the CIA was like, no, we're gonna have our guy do it. And then when they gave the body back, like the whole back of the head fell off. Like, where's his brain? They're like, oh, we took out his brain already.
what?
Yeah. The way that they handled the body was supposed to never be alone. Body ended up being alone for 45 minutes before they moved it to the airplane.
Whoa.
There are inconsistencies just in the reporting of like, this is what it was, this is what it actually said. So there's already a cover up somewhere there. And at the time of this being recorded, announced today, in the 90s, in 1992, Bush Sr. voted on and passed a bill that was like the release of JFK documents 25 years later.
Right.
That 25 years is coming up. There's been pressure on Trump to not release the documents. Trump has said the documents are coming out.
Because he's going to be like, I get to be the one who releases this.
Right.
And that's how I know, you guys, that's how I know that we've never made contact with aliens, because Trump would have told us the moment he
Trump,
found
the first
out.
thing he would have been like, U.S. government's been hiding aliens since 43. Sad.
No, he would have been.
We have the best aliens.
He would have framed it as, can't believe we made contact and this is what they've done with the technology. I'm going to change this. I'm going to turn it around.
So in the guise of documents coming out,
Yeah.
and we'll get to these conspiracies, on one hand, it might just be the CIA fucked up. The like group that was supposed to watch the president, his Secret Service. In the, when you watch the Zapruder film, there's a part when his Secret Service is next to him.
Mm-hmm.
He gets waved off, and you see the guy go like, "What the fuck? Why am I moving away?" Car
Right.
speeds up, speeds around the corner. There is one that says that the gun that shot, the bullet that killed Kennedy did not come from Oswald.
Right.
He was, Oswald shot the mayor. He bent over.
Mm-hmm.
The Secret Service guy freaked out, jumped on the car. His gun
gun
went
went
off and
off.
killed him.
So you're thinking there's a very good chance that this was just negligence or like somebody like just like making an accident happen.
Yes. And then when the higher ups are like, what the fuck? You killed the president?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand? The communists want him dead. Like, we can't say that we fucked up and killed the president.
yeah.
Hide this. You're going to go inside that body and remove any bullets that show our make and model on it. You're going to make sure that body's alone. Like, it could
Yeah.
be that. Now, the other end of that could be that the body showed multiple entry wounds. And that
It did? Or you think that's
so
something
the magic bullet theory
Yeah.
is that one bullet entered him, went fucking, when bullets entered people, it did some craziness and went out another end. Went in
Oh.
through here, wiggled around, came out his back.
He pointed all around his torso. Just
I was doing like
because
fire was
podcasts
swirling
are not
around
a
me.
visual medium.
That's
Santell.
that is the magic bullet theory.
Well, just like jumping back a little bit, it's already like a very interesting thing for, I mean, if you just think of like, if there was nothing going on, like no conspiracy, the minute that the president is shot, like the disarray level goes beyond any threshold that you can fathom.
Right.
Like, because especially like, I mean, my general stance on at least the angle of like the CIA or FBI did it, like not to necessarily say like I don't believe that, but my thought process is like you picked a really public place where like a lot of components could fuck up in a really terrible way.
So with JFK, I feel like there is a conspiracy. Where the conspiracy starts and end is all speculation for us to argue.
Right.
The larger conspiracy is who's responsible for
Right.
it. So,
So-
if we were to put this one, is the CIA, when JFK was presented with the Bay of Pigs, his generals sort of forced that on him and he didn't want to do it, but he ended up going along with it. In doing that, he fired his Secretary of State, who was in charge of that before. And I might be wrong about being his Secretary of State.
But it was somebody in a really
It was the
high-
Dulles brothers.
Yeah.
Alan Dulles.
Okay.
And he felt that this was being forged on him. JFK was reportedly, talked about, I was going to destroy the CIA. I don't want the
Wow,
CIA
yeah.
because of their power. He talked about, there's a great speech that he did. You can Google it, about him talking about how in America there shouldn't be secret societies. Secret societies are anti-American. So a lot of people think that he's talking about, of course, thinks he's talking about communism, but, all the New World Order people want to go clandestine and stuff like that. So he fired the most powerful guy in charge of the CIA. If this individual didn't want to put the war in World War III. If you look at all the stuff about, the Cuban Missile Crisis, it was all about him being like, let me get more information. Let me get more information.
Also, it is worth noting, in sorting the JFK assassination, like all the theories associated with it, we're going to do with like each potential candidate as their own sorting, because the
Right.
rationale and reasoning is slightly different.
Right.
So right now
so in
we're
this
dealing.
case, he was going to buck the military-industrial complex. His
Right.
generals were like, he's not going to go to World War III. He's not going to allow us to do the funding of it. The agency said, well, who do we get to do this? And they're like, we'll get some guys. So
Wow.
this was to allow for the American agenda abroad, because after JFK goes away, we go deep into Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam has started. There's 5 presidents can't get us out of it. We are now in Vietnam.
Right.
And I don't know if JFK wanted us to be in Vietnam.
I mean, based on the limited historical context that I have, like in memory of it, he seemed like he was like, I'll go toe to toe, but like I don't want to cross the line ever.
He
Right.
was doing secret missions with Green Berets in Cambodia and Laos, and trying to prevent the Viet Cong from like spreading.
Right.
But didn't want to go into Vietnam
Right.
proper. And once he was gone, Johnson came in there, which will be our next conspiracy. Johnson came in there and was like, we got to commit more troops there.
Okay, so in this situation, it's the CIA conspiring, or the CIA and FBI?
I would say it's Hoover. Absolutely. If Hoover is involved, he was he ran the FBI like it was his agency. If he didn't like you, if he wanted, hey, you're going to go follow Martin Luther King because we don't trust this guy. You're going to go follow John Lennon because we don't trust this guy.
Right.
All of those things. I would say, yeah, this is the Dulles brothers sort of big business of preventing the executive branch from stopping military spending.
Gotcha.
And it's Slytherin. It's evil. It's
Oh,
the
for
most
sure.
fucking evil. We need to sell more guns, so we got to get rid of the president.
Right. Okay, so that's like the Secret Service has taken out the president for the reasons of...
Two different things here.
Okay, sorry.
No. Whatever the cover-up was, in terms of the larger conspiracy here, that higher ups within these agencies were the individuals that orchestrated this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. CIA, I would say the alphabet agencies,
Mhm.
individuals.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alphabet agencies, that's Slytherin. Then we have the potential of let's move on to Johnson, because I feel like he's also like within the administration.
So Johnson was a Texas politician, and after JFK's first administration, for him to get votes in the South, he had to get somebody to represent that, and they got Johnson.
Right.
Johnson really wanted to be president,
Right.
like House of Cards, like I will become president at all costs. Supposedly, he had he did have a mistress, and his mistress wrote a memoir. And in that memoir wrote about how after a meeting in 63 or something with the Dulles brothers, with all of these agencies, Johnson said, that fucker Kennedy will never be a problem again for me.
Holy shit.
Johnson was the only person who would have enough sway in Dallas to tell the Dallas mayor, hey, I don't want any police on any of these following streets, because there were no police on those streets. There should have been there. He would have the ability to coordinate with his security detail to call off the security guards.
Is the explanation that we're given just like, oh, they have the Secret Service and the CIA on top of everything, that's why there were no police? Or like, what's the explanation given for that?
No reason, because Kennedy was supposed to do was on a tour of American cities.
Right.
And all the other cities were like, no, you're not going to do. We can't protect you if you have a convertible. And when he got to Texas, they're like, we have this beautiful convertible.
Hell yeah, get into this Cadillac car, baby.
Right. When he turned the corner, there was no security on that street. There was, a number of witnesses on the scene that saw things that are in the Zapruder film. There's a man with an umbrella. There's one with a stroller. None of those people were ever interrogated or asked for their stories. Ever.
That's wild. And I mean, like, you can't actually just say, like, in the chaos, these people just, like, wandered off and,
it's
and
also
we couldn't get to them
wild to me that...
And he would have had the sway to stop at the police station going, hey, this guy's, Jack Ruby's going to go in there and shoot him and you guys aren't going to do anything.
I find it still so crazy. I mean, I understand that film cameras were relatively new, but the fact that there is only one bit of documentation of this event is...
What do you mean?
Like...
There are photos like you don't see as often.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I mean the fact that we don't have we just really have the Zapruder film, and it is not the best angle.
No, yeah,
it is
you
not
don't get a good look.
Just the fact there was nobody in that crowd who had a camera and was wanted to film the president.
Well, that's always the comedian Bill Hicks. One of his jokes is, you run for president, you do all this stuff, and then when you get in the Oval Office, they draw the shades down. They're like, hey, here's the angle of the JFK assassination you didn't see.
Oh,
where
God.
it's, a CIA fucking agent on the other end of the hill with a gun.
I mean, but at the time, it's bonkers for us. It's hard for us to wrap our minds around, especially I feel like in the last 5 to 10 years of a time where we couldn't just record and document anything we wanted to at any time. In the 60s, nobody could have fucking afford a camera.
Right. Well, let's also look at the shit with, what happened in Vegas. There are people that have put together, here's from 9:59 to 10:42. Here's all the cell phone videos.
Right.
Here's a driver on this side of town. And Vegas is a place where there's phones. The fact that all those people went and see the president and NBC wasn't there, and none of those people...
that's what I mean. That national news coverage was
different.
Didn't get a good
Well,
shot
Johnson
of it.
would have the ability to kick those people out. And Johnson was the last person as well that could have tampered with the body before it flew out at the airport.
Right.
Because he controlled Texas, and he was able to do those things. So Johnson might have been the individual, the impetus that said, we got to get rid of JFK.
Was there ideological disparities between the two of them? I don't truthfully know off the top.
I know that Johnson had an idea of the really progressive society. He wanted to do sweeping reforms in the United States. And the only thing that he really was able to get to was the civil rights, because after that he got bogged down with Vietnam.
Right.
And never being able to get out from under the thumb of that, and always being all right, let's bomb more.
Now, do you think this is a Slytherin also, in his singular quest for power?
Yes. If he was the individual that orchestrated all of this, I do think this is a very Slytherin. This is dark.
However, if you think that the reason for him doing that
was altruistic
to get these progressive moves happening, then you could argue Gryffindor.
No, he was weird. He would bring his joint chiefs into meetings and would sit on the toilet and shit in front of them.
Oh yeah,
what?
he has a ton of he also was known to just take his dick out and
there's a famous
so he's the Louis C.K. of presidents.
Yeah. There's a great recording of him with a tailor, with the presidential tailor, and the tailor's like, Mr. President, how do you like those new pants? He's like, the pants are really good, but man, my balls are just scritched all the time. I need more room. I got a big package. Whip out his dick, just crazy shit like that.
Damn.
Okay, so Slytherin.
Absolutely.
What's the next?
You wrote, well, when we were talking, the mob.
Okay.
Oh, I've never heard of this angle before.
Okay, so when Kennedy was running for president in '60, he was sort of this unknown. He was a politician that was known but wasn't super well known and needed to get national attention. His father was a booze runner in the '30s. He ran hooch back and forth for the mob.
Is that how the Kennedys got their wealth?
Yes.
Okay.
He took his hooch money and went to the stock market and was like, "Oh, Crest toothpaste is in the toilet. I'll buy 100 shares and sees what happens."
Yeah.
Took all of his illegal money, bought it on the stock market, and made it legitimate.
Right.
So when his son ran for president, he was going to lose to Nixon because he couldn't get the unions on his side.
Mm-hmm.
His dad went to heads of families and said, "Hey, give me $5 million and give me the support of your unions, and we'll make my son president." Now, the mobs had already given Nixon $1 million and were given the same promise.
Right.
Father Kennedy, and I fucking forget his name.
Father Kennedy.
Father Kennedy went to them and said, "Hey, let's get my son, let's get him president, and when he is, we'll leave you guys alone." Mob does it, supports him. He gets in office. First thing Robert Kennedy does, starts going after all the heads of the families. Starts bringing him down to New York City. Starts putting him in front of grand juries.
Oh, his name is Joseph because JFK is Junior, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Joseph Kennedy.
Yeah.
Brother Robert Kennedy gets put in charge of DEA, not DEA, the prosecutor for the United States.
Oh, I don't know.
Right. It's whatever that position is.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I think Sessions is it right now.
Attorney General.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Starts going after the mob. Mob goes to him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing going after us? You said we were going to be safe." And dad goes, "I'm really sorry. My son's got to make nice
what a
with the American
scam."
people. We
Yeah.
got to go after, we have to go after it." Heads of the families go, "Fuck him for thinking that he could turn his back on us. We're going to show this country who really controls it." The mob was the one that was able to hire not necessarily Oswald, but the other shooters that were involved. And Jack Ruby was basically not directly involved, but ran a club for a mob owner.
Right.
So I'm not in the mob, but every night the person who holds the deed to my restaurant is this guy. And he was told like, "Hey, you're going to go in there and put 2 inside of him." And the mob shut him down because Kennedy went back on his promise of letting the mob run rampant. Right.
And this makes sense why this conspiracy now would exist, because organized crime, the mafia is who you think of. These are the people who we have it down to a system.
Yeah.
This is just this is a big job for us, but it's still a job we know how to run, and we're going to make it efficient, and we're not going to leave any trails because we know how to do that.
Right.
Well, and it is a very solid and mob-like thing to be like, "Hey, we're going to have a guy commit a job, then we're going to have another guy commit the job to cover the job." Like that. The Jack Ruby thing has always been the component to me that is that's where it feels conspiratorial, because why would he's the one, Oswald is the one person who presumably could have answers.
Sure.
That's
Well, and that gets into another conspiracy of mind control and MK Ultra and
that's where it gets fun.
and a Manchurian candidate sort of, which is why when they tell Oswald "Hey, what happened?" He's like, "I was a patsy. I don't remember any of it," because he had some MK Ultra trigger that when they say "This way, Mr. Oswald," he goes, "Oh, what? Where am I? What's going
Jason
on?"
Bourne shit. I think the entire reason that any of this is any of these conspiracy happened is because he got killed. Because maybe you're a tween listening to this and you don't know as much. The dude who shot JFK got killed within the same week, right?
Oswald was picked up by Dallas police. He gets there's an interview where he gets interviewed by a guy and he said, "I'm a patsy. I was set up. I was a patsy. I was set up. I didn't know this was going to happen." The next day, he's in jail for maybe a day or two. They're going to take him to get moved so that they can try him. And Jack Ruby walks in with a gun. He says something like, "Hey, for tone," he says some shit. Kills
And
him right there in
shoots
front of
him.
everybody.
Yeah.
So that's it. Now you have context of like who Ruby is, and then like what happened to Oswald. Oswald gets killed, so we never know further than just him saying, I didn't do this.
And
right?
also, there's supposedly multiple Oswalds. Oswald had lookalikes. He supposedly had a twin brother, so that one of the brothers would, because there's stories of Oswald being in Russia, which he was, but then Oswald would show up in New York City. There was supposedly multiple Oswalds and Oswald lookalikes, and supposedly there were CIA handlers that handled multiple of these ones.
Well, the multiple Oswald things. This is some Hufflepuff stuff. This is just like this is when your grandma is like, look, I found this picture of this person online who looks just like you, and you look at them, you're like, oh, how dare you?
Well, okay, so we shifted a little bit away from the mob.
Okay, so the mob version of it.
The mob almost feels Ravenclaw.
Right, this is what they do. Killing people is the business.
It's like not even personal, dude. We gotta run our business.
We just have machinery running. You were the cog that wasn't working, so we removed the cog.
It's like maybe a sort of like machismo injected Ravenclaw.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's part of the mob. I mean, right? Whatever it is, it's going to have that machismo attached to it.
It's all about their bottom line. It's not necessarily about like the kind of power that the government's going after, which is like not money and stuff like that. But this was like affecting their business,
right?
And so that was like business decision on their part. It was like crazy ass one.
Right. It was the biggest. Yeah. I mean, it shook the country to its core.
Yeah.
But also, maybe they were mad with maybe JFK. He fucking ruined the relationship with Cuba. And now, instead of making it better, because all the mob guys ran all the clubs and stuff down there, Godfather 2 shit. And then all of a sudden, Kennedy doesn't want to start up talks again. Great. So now we're never going to get back that money. And now his brother is going after people.
Also, and I don't know, this just is something interesting that, to me, the fact that he got killed, that Kennedy got killed, and he was the first Catholic president. I feel like that also had a really big impact, not only just on like, any president getting assassinated is going to be a huge fucking deal.
Right.
But it was the first time that somebody who wasn't a Protestant had been elected.
Right.
And so at the time, like, this is really fucked up to think, like, in relativity, like, he was like the first diverse hire that the president of the office ever saw.
Right.
Just by shifting, because there was a huge anti-Catholic sentiment in the United States. It's not as much as like we had Irish slaves, like the fucking idiots talk about, but there was a distinct bigotry for anybody who wasn't a white Protestant in America, even at that point.
And he was young.
And he was
hot.
Yeah.
And he talked so much, and people fucking liked him. And, when they watched him and Kennedy, Kennedy under lights was all, Nixon was all sweaty and flubber.
Yeah.
And they were like, God damn, look at that Kennedy cool under pressure.
No, it was
I
the
just
first
remember
time
hearing
that presidents were televised.
It was the first presidential televised debates, and everybody who listened on the radio to it was like, "Oh, Nixon crushed that," and anybody who watched it was like, "No."
Yeah, they got fucking JFK boners. They were like, "That's the most beautiful man ever."
Because JFK was the first, because he was the first president of the TV generation.
Yep.
And so it really started. Like, I think that set the stage for how we, as a society, take in politics now. We see it as a TV show, and Trump gamified it more and made it a reality TV show.
Yeah, the divide that is in our politics now of this is my team, this is your team, is destroying the conversation, because
Absolutely.
I feel like the general sentiment should be like, hey, this experiment, there's only one America in the world. And if this goes away, we're going to have to deal with a lot of the politics of dealing what happens when you have one guy in charge.
Yeah.
Like, to keep this American experiment going, we have to be able to communicate. But even now, I mean, even the guys of this conversation, the moment an event happens, we're already like, fuck you, you're wrong. There was multiple shooters. Fuck you. It's already.
Because we don't slow down and then go, let's get all the information and then make our decision.
Because
based on that.
everybody is living in this mile a minute world where there's, the world
I'm guilty of it.
The world
I freak out all the time.
The world doesn't stop for a singular event. And so, we had 3 hurricanes in 2 weeks,
right?
And or 3 weeks, and like Puerto Rico still doesn't have power, and
Yeah.
Yeah, people are dying every day there, but it's like, you know.
But like then another thing happened, and
Right.
so we have to focus on
No,
that.
and like most of California's been on fire. Just in Los Angeles alone, they're projecting that I think in the next week, Los Angeles is going to see, for this time of year, a record temperature breaking. It's going to be the hottest.
Yeah, Tuesday's supposed to be like 102.
102 in downtown Los Angeles, and
Which
it's
is not normal for Los
Not
Angeles.
normal.
Just
No. You think
80s, 90s, maybe.
no, but we only have like one.
that's
We have
end
two
of
seasons. We
October.
have summer and we have like kind of winter. And they're saying at this, like, climate change is making it so we're gonna have summer, legitimate summer, in fucking October.
Right, but to further our conspiracy talk, there, just as this issue is politicized, there are some people that won't even have this conversation because they don't believe in global warming.
Yeah.
They're the individuals that believe that global warming is happening, but we're not responsible.
Which I appreciate that you're using the term global warming, because I feel that the term climate change lessens what it is, because people are like, oh, well, the earth cools, and they're like, yeah, no, it's a cycle. And then when we take on climate change, like, change is such a soft thing. But if we say man-made like environmental destruction,
right,
that is something that you go like, okay, do you believe or not in like the fact that we're just fucking things up? And I feel like you have to say yes.
Right now, we are living in a global mass extinction. Species are going extinct all the day. 40,000 penguins died because the island that they were on moved further away from its food source. The mother penguins couldn't leave it was too far of a swim to get the food and get back. So the mother penguins didn't go and feed the babies. All the babies were born and died. 2 babies of this population of 30,000 penguins. Right? That's fucking climate change.
That's wild.
That is what's going on. That's a real story too.
Yeah.
That's not like some fringe story. That's like a real story. To further this conspiracy talk, there are those that will also believe in climate change, but that we will never know the truth of it because of global engineering, because of weather modification, because of HARP, because of DARPA, because they're fucking using ionic heaters and are collecting not carbon, they're collecting some other shit.
If you're Trump, you think that the Chinese made this up just to make us look bad?
Right. All right, which one are we on real quick? Because I want to get to the last one, because the last one's my favorite.
I think we were still on JFK and
we're
the mob.
still on JFK. We
Ravenclaw.
said the mob. We said we didn't even get on it. Cuba, Russia, like communists.
Yeah, that Oswald was converted over
like
to
a
their
Soviet
sign. Right. He was under Soviet control, that he did commit these murders for a Russian, and that the cover up here was that the US government was like, we cannot let out that the Soviets did this. We cannot let them show that they're more powerful than us. Also, we cannot go to World War III.
Right.
We will not have a death of a president. We will hide this and say he did it, and we'll put Ruby in there, and we'll fucking change the body.
And so if depending on your framing, that would be a Gryffindor. If you're like, we're trying to avoid World War III happening.
You think so? Of just being like, hey, we actually know the truth, but we're trying to prevent a global Holocaust?
Because if the minute that you go, hey, another country did this, America will say, we want blood. And the only way to like you just have to go to war at that point.
Two countries of that magnitude going to war.
Well,
we're not going to be the only ones.
Which is part of that world conflict.
And even if you were like, oh, it was the Cubans who did it, people would still go like, and by association, it's Russia. And then we're like in the same spot.
And knowing if we're going into World War III, nukes are going to be involved, and like it's the most existentially horrifying thing.
Is it?
So I would say if that was the reason, I would say that's a Gryffindor.
Was it Einstein or Oppenheimer that said World War III will be fought with nukes and World War IV will be fought with sticks? Like, I mean, that's...
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some smart
basically,
dude, not
we're
me.
going to blow ourselves to Kingdom Come.
Somebody
Absolutely.
smarter than me.
Right.
Blast ourselves to the Stone Age.
All right. Tell me the last one, because this is the one I'm real excited
did you
for.
guys know? Sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. This is better.
This is completely off topic.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go to this talk that James Cameron was giving with the dude who's going to direct the new Terminator that's coming out.
Great.
And I didn't even realize that Cameron, a lot of his shit leading up till now was anti nukes. Like, so Terminator 2 is like anti nuclear war propaganda.
Yeah.
And now he's shifted. He said that he's no longer scared of that. He's scared of of he wasn't scared of this when he made Terminator. He is now legitimately terrified of artificial intelligence becoming sentient.
How crazy is it that
And
James
that's
Cameron's now passionate, so we're going to get a good fucking Terminator? Like, he just gave up for the past 15 years, and now he's like, oh no, we're also bringing back the real Sarah Connor. Sarah Connors as well.
Like, it's really great that like we've always have Arnie in all these movies, but we're not considering it legitimate until we get Sarah Connor back.
We make fun of fucking Avatar for blue cat people, but the actual, the other part of that movie is a very pro-environment of stop fucking drilling. Like, we are destroying indigenous people in our part of the land with fucking robots.
It'd be
such
great
a great
if he
message.
doesn't frame them as savages, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
It's such a great message, just unfortunately by cynics, myself sometimes included, of just like, but the story is so
savages, barely even human, savages,
and we got these white people coming and saving them.
Right, white saviors. That's
but
what we do.
anyway. So you then threw onto the whole. Did we sort?
Ravenclaw.
Gryffindor. Gryffindor.
Gryffindor
to prevent world conflict.
If that's the justification.
So then you threw this one out when we were talking before. You said UFO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are we still on JFK?
Yes,
we are still on JFK. I would just like to throw out right now, before we even started recording, we were like, how fast are we going to get through this? And I was like, maybe this should just be the whole episode. And you were like, no, we'll get through this fast.
Put 9/11 on there.
It has been almost 50 minutes, you guys.
All right, so this is just JFK. This is just the conspiracy.
This is part one of a two-parter. I'm declaring it right now. We're going to take on this fucking UFO bullshit, whatever it is, and then we are going to come back with a part two of whatever this conspiracy theory bullshit Americana is.
So the
UFOs.
The impetus of all of this is that
sorry, Michael.
In 1950,
I saw it, and you beautiful fucking people were like, no, we won't get on tangents.
True.
Why
it's
would
true.
we?
We're like 9/11. We like made a full list, and Barry's like, I don't know if we're gonna get that far. Okay, so all of this, there is a huge divide in the UFO community, and there is a number of them that the reason why we live in the paradigm that we live in today is centered around the following issues. In 1953, a UFO was recovered where it could have been Roswell. Some say it could have been another one, where a UFO crashed, was retrieved, and occupants were still alive.
Whoa.
Eisenhower made a deal with them for an exchange of technology, where they would allow us to have their technology and to back engineer it and stuff like that. Which is why in the 50s you have circuit breakers and all of these things that came out, like modern computing came into fruition in the 60s.
Oh, they're saying that it's only like, oh, we didn't just figure this out.
No, we were given it and we back engineered it. And the extraterrestrials, I believe the one who met with him was named Valiant Thor.
Of course he was named Valiant Thor.
I know.
Because we still other planets use iconography from our culture.
Well, I mean, that might have been us naming them because
maybe he said his name was that. They were allowed to come here and use our planet for whatever they wanted to. Yeah. They were allowed to treat people like cattle and could remove natural resources and anything. Okay, that's 53.
That's where all the helium went.
Yeah, that's right.
That's some alien's food source.
Kennedy gets into office, is like, hey, Mr. President, close the blinds. Guess what? We made contact with extraterrestrials. We're back engineering them. You can't fucking tell anybody about this.
Right.
JFK goes, bullshit. There should be no secrecy between government and its people. Americans need to know about this. He supposedly told Marilyn Monroe this. He was his mistress. Marilyn Monroe wrote in her diary about JFK having a secret, and that after he was killed, she was going to come forward and say that aliens are real. She was then murdered because she knew the secret as well.
Oh, my little gay ass is gagging! Marilyn Monroe got murdered because aliens are real?
Because she knew about it and was going to tell everyone that that's why JFK was killed.
Marilyn,
so,
no, honey, you deserve better than that.
The
Norma Jean!
The clandestine group that is shadow government. In the 60s, I don't know. I want to say it's the Condon Report. They got a bunch of guys together and was like, hey, what would happen if we told the American people that aliens were real? And they came to the conclusion that, if we told people aliens were real, everyone would freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Society as we know it would break down. No one would go to work. Religions would go away. Pure anarchy. So the decision was made, we will cover all of this forever. And those people that come out and have knowledge on this, we will ridicule them and we will shame them into nothing. So you have things like Project Starbeam and Project Blue Book, where they were looking at UFOs and basically saying, oh, that's swamp gas. That's mercury off a shadow of a windshield. JFK wants to come out and talk about that. The reason why JFK was assassinated was because he wanted to come out with the truth about our interactions with off-world beings.
So then who was responsible in pulling the trigger? Just like larger government or
whomever is. So there's the government that we vote on, right? There's the government.
Sure.
But then there's a whole shadow government of individuals that don't have to audition for their jobs. They are just assigned that job. Or, do
you think maybe the aliens are like running everything?
Well, no, not that. Just that the reason why we live in the world the way that we live in is that there is a conspiracy to keep that technology away from us. If we really had technology from aliens, why the fuck are we pumping oil? Like,
right.
Why wouldn't we could literally do the paradigm that we live in a capitalist society of like, oh, there's some with money and then there's just fucking homeless people. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
Would all go away the moment it's like, oh no, we can get as much food, as much everything.
And we kind of already do live in that reality, but go on.
Right. And if those are the glasses of fucking the Wizard of Oz we wear, the truth here is that, we made deals with aliens because we found their crafts and JFK wanted to tell everybody.
Now, is that the Illuminati at that point, the shadow government, or is that another entity?
It's crazy that we now have all of these terms that we label all of these. I don't know. But if this is literally the 50s and 60s, these are the heroes of World War II. The greatest generation was given a task and really put our country on the map in a way that no other industrial country had ever done it.
Absolutely.
Boys went to war, women went to work. Everything was on full cylinders. If the existential crisis were to come about of knowing, not speculating that there's life in the universe, knowing
definitively,
right,
there is another being that technology to us is magic. What do we do? And that this secret is so big that this is the thumb that we've been living under the past 70 years of that everything we do, this secret has to be at the highest level, has to be made secret. Which is why we now have Tom DeLonge fighting the man for us. Do you guys not know that Tom DeLonge is trying to get alien disclosure?
That's the guy from Blink-182, right?
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
So if that is the case,
and Dan Aykroyd,
I don't absolutely.
We got our best man on it.
Yeah, the best ones. He's all in the Men in Black. I don't know if this is a Hufflepuff because of the greater good, or if this is a Raven card because this is science. Like scientifically, we cannot allow the breakdown of the human species. We have to engineer this differently.
It's interesting that, granted, it was a different time in the 1960s, 1950s,
sure.
all of that. I feel if at this juncture in time, personally anyway, that if I were informed that there were aliens, I'd be like, oh, fuck. What does that mean? I wouldn't, I think at least like, with our current structure where like agnosticism and like atheism are fairly commonplace, at least within the American construct, not all of America.
Right.
Well, we also
like,
have to remember that we live in a place where you can be secular and it's not as much of a cultural issue.
Sure.
Even in different parts of our country, it's way more of an issue.
Right,
absolutely.
But in places like Egypt or Saudi Arabia, there's no atheists.
But even there, people are a lot more open-minded just in the simple fact that the internet has allowed us to see more things.
Right.
And to like, there's programming that exposes us to so much. So it's at least to me, not something so outside of the realm of possibility that if everybody were like, okay, so this is a big fucking deal. We made contact with aliens. Like, I think now more of the issue is everyone's like, you kept that a secret for 70 fucking years. Like, that's more where I think people would be outraged. It would not be a situation where we'd be like, oh my God, aliens! Like, they're not smacking their heads and like falling backwards.
Which is the rock and the hard place that this secret's been covered up for so long.
Well,
how do you even come out and say anything else?
Here's the simple one. Like, I mean, if we're going off of like things are staged, and we'll get to it in part 2 with the moon landing, but like you fucking stage. Like there was a crash in the Mojave Desert, and we excavated this site, and aliens exist. Like, hey guys, and then you just are like, and all the stuff that happened 70 years ago, that was all human ingenuity, but these guys have technology that's actually a lot like ours. So like we were on this, like we get to pat ourselves in the back,
right?
And then go like, and we can take some of this technology and like make it better.
I think the religion angle is really the crux of it.
Well. Institutions, but institutions
then,
like the Catholic Church, who, if you want to get in this conspiracy, they have a big observatory on fucking Devil Mountain or some shit like that. And the Catholic Church had a whole press conference where they're like, hey, when aliens come to Earth, we will accept them as brothers of Christ, and if they want to be Catholics, we'll totally allow it.
That's great.
Well, like, what the fuck would you say that for? Unless you were like told some shit where someone was like, "Hey, yo, aliens are gonna be coming," so like, FYI, get your people ready for that shit.
Like, it just to me is one of those things. Like, I don't think that aliens arriving discredit a religion.
No,
like,
I'll tell you why I think it would.
Unless your religion is like,
but what about Ezekiel's wheel? What if that was a UFO, Michael Barryte? And what about if the angel Gabriel was a light, and what if it wasn't? It was just an alien being talking to him. I mean, that's the shit.
Here's why I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, because if we have if there are creatures, if there are species that are more technologically advanced than us, that directly contradicts the Bible, because in the Bible, in Genesis, God so this is just like Judeo-Christian
sure. About to blow your mind, but continue.
The whole thing is, they say that we were made in God's image, which means that you can't get a whole lot closer to being God than us.
Correct, but
so finding out
mind you, but in the Hebrew Bible, when it talks about God, it says Elohim. Elohim means they. Mm-hmm. Which means that there might have been multiple individuals. And if you get into like kitchens.
I love that God has the same pronouns as me. Go on.
But I mean, now we're getting into the ancient alien shit. But it's all of that like, but it says they, so maybe it was multiple. And also it says that in the Bible, it says God created us in our image, but that there were already beings on Earth. There were already other human beings, and there was also, fallen angels and shit like that running around the Earth as well.
No, we pared it way down. Because, like, my ultimate point is it would be really, like, I think psychologically devastating. Because statistically, if there are aliens that exist.
There are.
Yeah, there are. Because it just doesn't mathematically.
There are too many planets that we are now finding with water and light, and all of these things that we thought were only true here on Earth are now being proven to be true other places.
So, like, even on a microscopic level, there is
even on
life.
a microscopic level.
Right. I don't know why you're pointing at me as if I'm going to disagree with you.
I just need you to be okay with alien microscopic life.
I guess the logic carries it. If there is an advanced species, it's not going to be anywhere near humanoid. Like, that's just it's going to be like a rival.
Sure. But I guess I'm just in the camp of like, even in that situation, your like scripture of like God created us in their image.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't then mean also God had been dabbling over in this part of the universe.
Well, it said he created other worlds. It said God created other places.
Like, he was fucksing around in a bunch of places, and hey, like, we're test number 350.
I love the idea of an Earth being like, you're human people with like fucking elephant noses, and you're an Earth, but you guys got fucking antlers like Fallout Boy videos.
I don't think, I mean, because I just don't see how that ideology of like, the stories are going to be different, but like basic principles of morals should carry across the board unless you're dealing with a.
Well, but we. I mean, if we take. I mean, you're right.
I guess I'm being wildly optimistic about how the world views. Or like other
I think
things.
if aliens are real, they'd come here and fucking conquer us. We showed up, Columbus, we don't celebrate Columbus Day anymore. Why? Because you raped a bunch of people and killed them with diseases.
If you were going
aliens
to new
would
lands,
show up here, right?
If you're going to new lands in
We're
a
going
ship and you don't
Independence Day.
tell them that you're coming first, if you're not like, hey guys, we're on our way, there's a reason you're not telling them.
Oh, well, then now we're getting into the secret space program and why we had to colonize Mars with
all right,
jump room people.
jumping back to
Are
UFO.
we? Oh, okay.
We're just jumping back to UFO. Where do we think that this is sorted?
The UFO angle on the JFK assassination.
Like the reason that
Science.
he was.
I feel like it's scientists. It was like, listen, guys, these are the cold hard facts about
It's
this.
either a Gryffindor or a Ravenclaw for me.
I think it's Ravenclaw. I don't think it's Brave because it's a secret.
Sure.
They are the keepers of all this knowledge.
It's like a bunch of humans all together. Whoever is in this conspiracy going, this will be too scary. We won't be able to survive this. This is too scary.
And Ravenclaws, just from like an intelligence like mystery angle, that is like an element that they're like, I'm drawn to this, but I also know that there's a lot of power in this.
Yeah, I think it is science. There's a lot of science wrapped up in it, but overall, I think that it's emotionally driven. It's an emotionally driven motivation of like, I can't handle this. I don't think anyone else around us could handle it either.
Well, and all of these paradigms of, that's with all these conspiracies, it is a paradigm of belief. Mm-hmm. Because we have a lack of evidence for these things, it's what do you believe? So if I've read about, the Gulf of Tonkin and the how difficult they made JFK's life, or Martin Luther King's life, I'm gonna go, wow, I believe in this conspiracy.
Right.
If I'm a person that believes wholeheartedly that my government has never done any of these things, I don't believe in them. My government would never do any of these things. It's the fucking Illuminati. It's it's the fucking 12 black families over in Europe and the Jewish cabal. It's
the globalists.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wherever your thought processes come from.
Sure. And on that note, I believe that
we're just putting a bookmark in the book. We're just putting that string and closing the page.
And I would like
this is the end with a question mark.
I would like to thank you, Michael, for joining us. We're going to be coming right back to this for part 2.
Beautiful.
Because you lovely fucks don't believe me when I say that this will take us longer.
None of us believed you, Michael,
we didn't
but you
believe
were
you.
right the entire time.
That's a conspiracy. We conspired together. We're like, fuck that noise.
Where can we find more of you?
Find me at Super Couch Fighters. You can find me at Michael J Santell, and usually the second and fourth Saturday, come see me at Comedy Sports. We'll come put you on stage with us.
You can find more of Reed Brice at That Dang Dingus on Twitter. You can find me at Belated Media. You can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that sort of thing.
It makes it much easier. It puts us higher in it. Please give us all the stars.
And honestly, tell us who you think killed JFK. I want to know. I want to know your theory. If you have a new one, especially.
That's more of a Twitter thing than a review
Put it in the
thing.
Twitter.
So we will see you back for part 2 because we're going for fucking part 2, guys.
Unless it gets redacted by the government.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.